Hi friends! Welcome to the next video. I'm glad to see you here. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be looking at a fan fiction on Wattpad. This is written by, a writer on Wattpad, and I'll link you to this and the user in the description below. So this one is called KOTLC during COVID, and it seems that all the characters are just humans who go to high school together during COVID-19. And I thought it sounded intriguing, so I wanted to do this. Since this is a bit long for one video, it's going to be a series of videos, and for the weeks to come, I'll be doing double uploads just to, spice things up. So you guys have more to watch if you want. So here's chapter 1 called Lockdown. Sophie Foster. Sophie sat in her room, staring at the ceiling. Her gray Labrador puppy, Iggy, sat beside her bed, gnawing on a bone. It had been 3 weeks since lockdown had begun, and Sophie was already going crazy. There was literally nothing to do. Sophie's parents had tried getting her to read, bake, do some chores, but they all ended in a total mess. Iggy had ripped the book from Sophie's hands, trying to get her to take him for a walk. Sophie had practically burned down the kitchen when she tried to make chocolate chip cookies, and she'd somehow sprayed herself in the eye when she was trying to clean the windows. She was a walking disaster. She pulled her phone from her dresser and pulled up her contacts. Her fingers hovered over Fitz's name, but she tapped Dex's. "Hey," she said into the microphone. "Hey, Soph, what you doing?" Dex asked over the noise in his house. Sophie laughed. "Watching Iggy destroy the house. What about you?" Dex snorted. "My siblings are doing the same. You should have seen them yesterday. Rex and Lex got into a fight over who would get to help Bex make cookies. There was flour and sugar everywhere." "Sounds like what happened when I tried to bake." Dex laughed as Sophie remembered her adoptive mom's exasperated face as she left to go buy Sophie some cookie dough. "Have you done anything interesting recently?" Dex asked. Sophie sighed. "No. The most interesting thing that's happened was in my dreams. And you know what happened?" "What?" "I saw you, Keith, Fitz, and Tam all wearing black bathrobes, sitting in my room, drinking coffee. And then when I entered, you all stood up and started doing this weird choreographed dance, and at the end, Tam pulled a confetti cannon out of his robe and shot Keith with it." Dex started laughing so hard, Sophie heard a dull thumping sound, indication that he dropped his phone. "I'm sorry, dropped my phone," he reached between laughs. Sophie giggled. "I can actually see you four doing that, though. Except I think Keith would be the one with the confetti cannon." "Nah, I can see Tam with one, but it would all have black confetti in it." Sophie laughed, making Iggy jump up and bark at her. She shushed him and shifted. "Once this all ends, I fully expect you guys to do that for my birthday, but have Bianna and Lynn included." Dex snorted. "Can you imagine the chaos, though? I bet you 100% Bianna and Keith would both want to choreograph the dance and make everyone pick sides." Sophie flicked a strand of hair from her face. "True. Who do you think would win?" Dex paused. "I don't know. I would pick Bianna's side, though." Sophie nodded. "Yeah, so would Lynn. And Fitz and Tam would definitely pick Keith. Wait, no, Tam would pick Bianna." Dex sighed. "Keith would be so broken-hearted, though." "He is a drama queen," Sophie commented. "Don't you mean drama king?" a deep voice asked, making Sophie jump. She turned around and saw Keith standing by her open window. Iggy yipped at him happily and started chasing his tail. "What the heck? How did you get in?" Keith ran a hand through his hair. "A magician never reveals his secrets. You talking to Fitz?" "No, I'm talking to Dex. Why do you care?" Keith shrugged and plopped next to Sophie on the bed. "Hey, Dex, what you two talking about?" Sophie grimaced as Dex asked, "When did Keith join the call?" "Wait, what?" "He didn't join the call. He broke into my house." Sophie glared down at Iggy. "You are a horrible guard dog," she scolded. Keith laughed and picked Iggy up, setting him in his lap. "Aw, he knew it was me, didn't you, boy?" Sophie rolled her eyes. "Sorry, Dex, I have to kick this delinquent out of my house. Call you later?" Dex snorted. "Okay, nice talking to you." He hung up, and Sophie flung her phone onto her nightstand. Then she pointed to her bedroom door. "Out," she said. Keith ignored her. continuing to cuddle with her puppy. Sophie flicked his arm. Keith, seriously, you're going to give Iggy COVID. He still didn't answer. Sophie smiled wickedly and reached a hand up to ruffle his hair. Keith jolted and hopped off the bed. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you think you're doing? He asked, setting Iggy down on the floor. Getting you out of the room. Grady will literally kill you if he hears. Keith rolled his eyes and whispered, Then just don't let him hear us. Sophie smirked and opened her mouth, filling her lungs with air. Great! Keith lunged at her and she took a step back, tripping on Iggy's tail. The puppy yelped loudly, and Sophie shrieked herself as she tumbled to the ground with a huge thump. Keith didn't move, keeping his hand over Sophie's mouth. I think I hear something, he whispered. Sophie pushed his hand away. Get off me, Sensen, she hissed, hoping her face wasn't bright red. Shh, Keith said, putting his ear against the floor, leaning across Sophie. Sophie groaned and tried to shove him off of her. She failed. Keith, what's your middle name? Shush. Keith, shush, Sensen, get off of me right now. She put her hands on his shoulders and he jumped up. Finally, Sophie said, getting up. I need to run for my life. I hear Grady coming up the stairs. Talk to you later, Foster. He rushed to the still open window, saluted, and jumped out. Sophie sucked in a breath and ran over to the window, before remembering that the house was built into a hill and the highest crest was right under her window. She watched as Keith sprinted through the grass and disappeared behind the neighbor's house. She shut the window just as Grady burst into her room. What's wrong? He asked, looking around with narrowed eyes. Sophie smiled. Sorry, I tripped on Iggy, she said. Grady looked under her bed. I heard someone else's voice. Yeah, I called Dex. You can ask him. Grady got up and shook his head, a smile spreading across his lips as he ruffled Sophie's hair. Only you can trip on a puppy. Sophie laughed and hugged Grady. Okay, Edelin's making dinner right now. Be done in half an hour. Sophie nodded and let out a breath of relief after he left with Iggy and shut the door. She opened her phone and quickly texted Keith, You, sir, are one serious escape artist. He answered back immediately with, I know, haha. Well, that's part one, and I think it was pretty funny, even though, but wait. But if they're in COVID, why would Keith sneak in? That's a really bad idea. I think that was the only thing I didn't really like about it, but I think this was sort of cute, and yeah, that's my thoughts about it. So I'll post this in the description along with the user, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, so subscribe and click the bell button to get notified when I post new videos. Happy watching!